Roman Empire in the 1st century. First of all, I want you to introduce the topic. The Roman Empire was the third period of the Roman civilization. It was following the Roman Republic. The Roman Empire began with the expansion of Rome, its capital, when it extended its control around the Mediterranean Sea. The Roman Empire was characterized by having an absolute government. It is that one person, in this case the emperor, had the power of everything, talking about political, administrative, religious, and military. The Roman Empire was from the 27 before Christ to the 476 AD. Its territory covered 3 continents: Southern and Western Europe, Western Asia, and Northern Africa. Its boundaries were Britain, Gaul, Spain, Switzerland, the countries of the Danube, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Asia Minor, and North Africa. Transition to empire. From the 133 and the 27 before Christ, it was the transition from the republic to the empire. It was characterized by a complex economy, social, and political situation, which obviously led to moments of tension, such as social wars between the nobles and the plebs. Julius Caesar is often considered to be the first emperor, but he was not. He was a dictator. And after his assassination in 24 before Christ, the triumvirate of Mark Antony, Lepidus, and Octavian ruled. So, the first emperor was Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus, best known as Augustus. His empire was from the 27 before Christ to the 14 AD. The Senate gave him the title of the emperor because he destroyed Rome's enemies. And he had a form of government known as a principate because he made a combination of elements from the republic with a monarchy. He reigned with wisdom, prudence, and justice because he was interested on people and took care of the Senate and the assemblies. The Roman Empire was divided into 2, the High Empire and the Low Empire. The High Empire was from Augustus to Diocletian, and the Low Empire was between Diocletian and the fall of the Roman Empire. The High Empire was in the 1st century, and it was characterized by the heyday of the Roman Empire. It was a height of the expansion of the slave mode of production and all of the expression of classical civilization. Also, it was a period of relative tranquility called as the Pax Romana, where it was a development of the economy, culture, and civic life. Also, there was a Romanization where the villages around the empire adopted language, that was Latin, and the ways of life of the Romans. The cities filled with great construction and public works, and the right of Roman citizenship was extended. Also, the main vehicle of the Romanization was the spread of the urban life. And in the West, the first network of cities was created, and the indigenous cities adapted and their inhabitants adopted the new civilization. Talking about the political aspect, the emperor, as I've already said, was the highest political, religious, and military authority. Then it was the Senate, which granted the emperor all the powers, but obeyed the emperor's orders. And then it was the prefectures, which were institutions in charge of the welfare of the population. About the social aspect, the daily life in a Roman city depended on one's economic status. In some places, there was a mixture of wealth and poverty. And at the top, it was the nobility, which still held power but not politically. Actually, the middle class disappeared completely, but the plebeian class increased. They were unemployed and satisfied with the donations of the government. Then the bourgeoisie, they were having positions in the Senate, and they were financial inspectors, governors of minor provinces and prefectures. And the slaves increased because the conquered places increased also. In the economic aspect, the latifundia ruined agriculture because the landless peasants migrated to Rome, so the wheat began to be imported. The mining prospered thanks to the conquered provinces because they were rich in minerals and the availability of slaves. The trade intensified because there was the construction of the port of Ostia, which products from the west, and the port of Puteoli with products from the east. Metals were imported from Spain, such as amber, perfumes, spices, silks, and precious stones from the Far East. Also, there was something named the cultural flourishing in the Roman Empire, and also the empire of Augustus was named the Age of Augustus because they were some writers and artists that exalted the ancient virtues, traditional religions, and customs. Architects and artists transformed Rome into an imposing city as we know. And here we can see some pictures of the precious architecture. Talking about the religion, its religion was polytheistic. It is that they had numerous gods and anthropomorphic. The gods were represented by humans' figure. It was divided into public worship and private worship. The public worship it was that the priests worshipped the gods on behalf of the city, and each god was assigned a temple with its own priest. Some main gods were Jupiter, it was the god of the sky and celestial phenomena, Mars, the god of the army, Ceres, the goddess of the harvest, Diana, the goddess of wild nature and hunting, Mercury, the god of commerce, and Venus, the goddess of beauty and fertility. And the private one, it was destined for the family gods administered by the fathers of families in their homes. It was the mains that watched over the continuity and the prosperity of the descendants. The lares, they were protector gods of the home, and the penates, they were genies who made the family provisioning possible. In the education, the main objective of the education was inculcating the respect for traditional values. In rich families, the children at the age of 6 were taught basics of reading, writing, and mathematics. At the age of 11, an advanced teacher named Grammaticus taught them literature and science. And at the age of 14, young men who wished to enter politics had to study oratory. Girls were taught domestic chores, while poorer boys had to be required to work. The language was Latin. It was of great importance because Rome, by spreading its culture throughout the conquered territories, created a massification of its language that is nowadays the basis of most of the languages of Latin America. And actually, Latin fulfilled the task of disseminating knowledge. As a conclusion, we can say that the first century for the Roman Empire was a turning point because there was an important and enormous development in all aspects, talking about economic, cultural, social, etc. Rome was probably the most important civilization for Western culture because from it we inherited innumerable things that are now indispensable in our daily lives. And that's it. Thank you.